If it wasn't already clear to you that I have a child based on my countless bad and or dad jokes, then hopefully by now it should be apparent. I'm just gonna take a moment of silence here as my wife's eyes roll all the way to the back of her head. Anyway, my daughter had a birthday recently, and being the tech head that I am, I figured it was a good time to buy her a proper tablet. Now, obviously, as a parent, there are going to be certain concerns you might have about giving your child a tablet, including safety and security, as well as physical and mental well-being, all of which I'll get into in this video as I tell you why I think that the 10th generation base model iPad might just be the best tablet you could buy for your kids, and quite possibly for yourself. Let's talk about it. Alright, first things first, no, we don't play J. Cole in this house anymore. He knows why. Anyway, I want to preface this review by saying that while I will be focusing on the iPad 10 as a device for your kids, I also think it's the right iPad to buy for the vast majority of people out there. If you're someone that mostly uses your iPad to consume content, like watching Netflix or browsing the web, maybe with a few light workloads thrown in there, then the iPad 10 will work just fine for you. I've owned an iPad Air 4 since it came out in 2020, and the specs on that thing are practically identical to the iPad 10. And I was someone who initially used my iPad for both video editing and music production, and I pretty much never experienced any hiccups or stutters at all. Now, your mileage may vary, but unless you're someone that plans on doing some real heavy lifting on your device, then the iPad 10 is most likely the right tablet for you. And with that out of the way, let's get back to the review itself and ask ourselves the age-old question, best summarized by modern-day philosopher William Bradley Pitt. What's in the box? So, inside the box, we of course have the iPad itself. Since this is a present for my daughter, I went with the pink version, and I have to say, I'm actually very impressed with the color and the overall looks of this device. Given how Apple tends to lean more towards subtle and muted colors, I wasn't expecting this to be so vibrant and bright, but I am absolutely loving it. Next, we have our standard paperwork and the classic Apple logo stickers, followed by a USB-C charging brick, as well as a surprisingly nice braided white USB-C cable. And that pretty much does it as far as what comes in the box. But I will say, the fact that Apple hasn't stopped shipping the iPad with an included charger and cable was yet another pleasant surprise to me, given their reputation in the past. Although at this point, I honestly wouldn't be shocked to learn that the inclusion of the charging brick was also mandated by the EU. Before setting up the device itself, I also fitted it with some Panzer glass on the front, as well as this adorable looking cover that I found online in the local store. Because what little girl doesn't love unicorns and rainbows? Next, let's talk about the specs and the features of this iPad. The iPad 10 comes in 4 different colors: blue, pink, yellow, and silver. And like I mentioned before, the pink version I got was actually incredibly vibrant and colorful, and really makes it stand out as a device that looks both fun and playful, yet still maintains a professional and classy touch to it due to the overall build quality and design. It's got a 10.9-inch screen and measures 248.6 millimeters by 179.5 millimeters, while being only 7 millimeters thick. It comes in a Wi-Fi or cellular option, weighing in at 477 grams and 481 grams respectively, or just over 1 pound each. Each one comes with a standard 64 gigabytes of storage space, with the option available to upgrade it to 256 gigabytes for a, not so modest fee. But given that this is the same company that charges you $700 for a set of wheels for your computer, this almost feels reasonable. Almost. It has an A14 Bionic chip inside with 6 CPU cores, 4 GPU cores, and a 16-core neural engine, giving you plenty of power to run pretty much any app flawlessly. And it has a battery life of up to 10 hours with fast charging via USB-C. It also comes with a 12 megapixel camera on the back as well as one on the front, and is capable of recording video at a resolution of up to 4K at 60 frames per second. And I know it feels like I'm just rattling numbers off at you right now, which is why I want to switch gears for a second and talk about what it's like to actually use this tablet, and basically why I think it's the one to get if you're looking for something for your kid or for yourself. So, with the boring numbers out of the way, let's instead talk about why I think this iPad is such a great device for both kids and grown-ups alike. Now, if you're looking for a tablet for your kids, there are certain ones out there that offer a fairly good deal. The Amazon Fire HD 10 Kids Pro, for example, is literally made with kids in mind and offers a lot of features such as built-in parental controls to limit screen time, the ability to set up App Store requests so that your child can only download an app once you approve it, and a filtered web browser. It also comes with a great built-in app store that offers a ton of games and educational content, as well as access to popular streaming services such as Disney Plus and Netflix. And it does all of this at a starting price of only $200. So why should you pay $150 more, or almost twice as much, just to get an iPad? Well, for starters, the iPad does everything the Amazon Fire does, but better. It comes with the same built-in parental controls, meaning you can limit their screen time, set filters on any web browsing they do, or disable web browsing altogether, as well as require your permission to download apps, which, if you have an iPhone, means you get a little notification on your phone the moment they try to download anything, and you can quickly access the App Store to see what it is before you accept it. And speaking of the App Store, one major benefit that iPads have over Android tablets is that their product lineup is way more streamlined. What I mean by that is there are dozens and dozens of Android tablets out there in all different shapes and sizes, whereas Apple only makes a few different iPads, meaning that for app developers, it's just a lot easier to design your app to work on an iPad over an Android tablet. This means that not only will everything run better on an iPad in general, with fewer bugs and weird design glitches, but there's also a wider array of apps to choose from that will work on your device. On top of that, you also get integration into the Apple ecosystem, meaning that your child can use their iPad to FaceTime you while you're at work to make sure you're still wearing the homemade necklace that they gave you. I may or may not be speaking from personal experience here. And while the cameras aren't going to stun you with their high fidelity images and videos, they're more than good enough to allow your kids to take selfies to share with you, or even record videos of themselves singing or doing little vlogs of their own for their imaginary YouTube channel, which I have to tell you is just the most adorable thing you'll ever see. The screen itself also looks absolutely stunning, and it goes up to 500 nits of brightness, which is enough that you can see it clearly in just about anything except for the harshest direct sunlight. But I live in Denmark, which is like a windier version of the UK, so unfortunately this hasn't ever been an issue for me. On top of that, it supports the Apple Pencil, although not the second generation one, as well as various keyboards, and again, because it's such a popular device, there is practically no limit to the amount of custom covers you can find for this thing online, meaning you can tailor it precisely to fit your kids' or your own needs. Honestly, at this point it sounds like I'm doing a paid promo for Apple, and you know, if Apple wants to reach out to me and send me their latest products for free, I'm okay with that, but it really is just a great device overall and ticks pretty much all of the boxes you can think of. So overall, for just $350, you have a device that is ridiculously fast, with a battery that lasts all day, great parental controls that give you peace of mind, and I haven't even gotten into some of the other advantages, such as Apple's overall good track record when it comes to security and privacy, as well as the fact that iPads tend to be supported on the software side for at least 5 to 6 years, and still continue to work well for years beyond that if you take decent care of them. So if you're on the lookout for a tablet for your kids or to use in your own day-to-day life of browsing and watching content, then I wouldn't hesitate to wager that the iPad 10 is the absolute best device you could get. Just, not too big of a wager, because being a tech YouTuber without sponsorships isn't exactly cheap.
Oh my God!
The only thing better than getting something cheap though is getting it for free. And since giving this video a like and subscribing to my channel are both things you could do entirely for free, you'd honestly be throwing away a great deal by not doing so. Anyway, that's it for now. Let me know in the comments if you agree that the iPad 10 is a great deal for pretty much everyone, or if you've tried something that you feel might be better, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.